Benjamin Franklin once said that diligence is the mother of good luck. Well, I can tell you right now, Ben never bet a football game in his life. And listen, if you happen to watch Friday's video report, I told you that my Thursday night top-rated 15-time best bet winner on the Eagles was a lucky win. And the flip side, it's okay to win lucky. Because over the course of the year, we will lose games in heartbreaking fashion. So it's okay to win lucky. But the reality is this. Over that course of the year, you will win more often than not in lucky fashion than lose games in those heartbreaking scenarios. Now, when you're losing, you don't want to hear that sermon that I just preached. You don't want to hear that the glass is more half full than half empty. And I understand that. But for as many years as I've been gambling and doing this, I know that's the reality. You will win more often than not. Now listen, yesterday, I didn't have luck in Norman, Oklahoma. I had the Sooners as a top-rated 15-time best bet. I thought they would annihilate UCLA. And I was feeling pretty good until the Bruins snuck in the back door with about 3.5 minutes to go to get a cover with a touchdown. And what do? You mutter your favorite obscenity and you move on because today is another day. Listen, it's not going to stop me because today I'm still going for winning day number 46 out of 71, and I'm still going for top-rated 15-time winner number 10 out of 13 on an early game on the board between the Bengals and the Colts. Because I've only had 2 NFL plays so far this season, one in the preseason I won and the one on the Eagles on Thursday night. And those top-rated 15-time plays in the NFL over the past 7 seasons, my record, 116 wins against 84 losses. Yeah, I'm still feeling pretty damn lucky. You can't let one loss from yesterday, from the day before, from last week, dictate how you're going to play today. You can't let it affect you, really, because otherwise it'll skew your perception. It'll affect the way you handicap the games. It really will dictate your pace, and you can't let that affect your mindset. Otherwise, you go in a loser before you even place your bet. And that's reality, folks. Okay, I've got a couple of free picks coming your way here for the Sunday card. In terms of who's hot at the site, well, I hate to say it, guys, but I've been saying it for weeks. It's still me. But if you also want to know what's going on here at the site, let me just tell you, props going out to Chris Jordan. Did it again last night. I'll tell you what, his play on Arizona State did not look good in the third quarter, but he won again last night. Arizona State coming through with the win outright as a 5-point dog over Michigan State. And how about Herm Edwards? Everybody was joking and ripping him for Arizona State, actually, for hiring him. But the Sun Devils off to that 2-0 start. He's going Chris Jordan for winning day number 11 out of 13. Today, top-rated 1,000-star football winner number 5 out of 6 to start this season on the early card, Buffalo and Baltimore. Matches his 1,000-star college winners in week number 1 with Minnesota over New Mexico State, Duke over Army, Alabama over Louisville, all double-digit routes you also got for over half price off. Remember, $1 bettors in the NFL dating back to the 2015 season have won over $21,400. $1 bettors with 1,000 star plays or higher in all sports combined have won a little over $170,000 since 2006. Those same $1 bettors have won over $53,000 over the past 21 months. You get it for over half price off today by using coupon code Chris. All the other discounts going today. The biggest discount of all today, final day offer. Just keep this in mind, final day offer. The last big discount of the entire football season goes today. Save 27% on your total purchase price by using coupon code 27%. 27PERCENT. It's a mix and match coupon, which means it's good for any combination of picks and or packages. If you're already involved in a long-term package with like Chris Jordan, for example, you want to add another 60 days, you have 20 days left. That would give you then 80 days. You can take 27% off the total purchase price of a 60-day package. And if you have any instant rebates, they are applicable as well. If you have any questions, you can always contact customer service. Again, 27%. It's going to be the single biggest discount available for the rest of the football season. It's a mix and match coupon. The only stipulation, you got to put everything in your shopping cart at one time to maximize your savings. Today is the final day. It is offered. All your other discounts and coupon codes are over on the home page. So with that being said, without further ado, let's get to your complimentary plays for this Sunday card. What can I tell you in terms of what goes on in the NFL in the opening weeks? Well, first of all, my mantra has always been that in the opening couple of weeks of the season, it's the only time we have the advantage over the odds makers, because the lines are always going to be soft, because they don't know anything more about these teams and what to expect than you or I, because as we have seen, the preseason is just an absolute farce. The favorites are always going to be much cheaper. Now, that will reverse as the weeks progress. Generally speaking, I find that favorites are the way to go in the opening weeks of the season because, again, the lines are generally softer. You will see the underdogs, however, come back and bite you in the ass in weeks 2 and 3 because these guys, the line makers, they aren't stupid. Don't underestimate them. They are not dumb. They will immediately compensate. Another little thing, and we will track this in the opening weeks of the year. You will notice the first 8 or 9 weeks of the season, the straight up winners cover the spread. And you're saying, oh my God, Al, that's just great. Yeah, you're going to notice. The straight up winners are going to cover at about a 95% clip over the first 8 or 9 weeks of the season. And you're thinking, my God, he just told me the secret of gambling. Yeah, well, go ahead and try to pick up the straight up winners of every single game. And yeah, not so easy, is it? But it's just a statistical quirk I've been following for about the last 8 or 9 years. It's just crazy. But again, it's not that easy to pick the damn straight up winners. But we'll follow it as the season progresses. Okay, let's get to your complimentary plays here. I'll run these in reverse chronological order for you. Hard word to spell. Difficult word to say sometimes when you're talking quickly. Chronological. I like Washington plus the 2 points at Arizona. A battle of two teams with new quarterbacks. Alex Smith for the Redskins. Sam Bradford and his bum knees for the Arizona Cardinals. Two teams that have interesting running back situations. David Johnson, of course, healthy once again for the Cardinals. Adrian Peterson, who the Cardinals brought in to replace David Johnson when he was hurt last year, getting the call for the Redskins because they lost the rookie out of LSU, Darius Geis, for the season with a torn ACL. Listen, I think the key in this contest is going to be the Washington defense. They've got everybody back, including defensive end Jonathan Allen, to a defense that was outstanding at stopping the run last year. Good secondary as well. I think they'll be able to get the pressure on Sam Bradford too. Alex Smith has some weapons in terms of his receiving core. Not that Bradford doesn't either, but I just have a feeling that even though Washington's failed to cover in its last 5 openers, I think the Redskins can win this game. I think it's going to be a close game, something like 24-21, could be a 27-24 type of game, but I think the Redskins are going to win this contest. Also on the late card, I think a fascinating game is going to be the Carolina-Dallas contest. It's going to probably be a rainy day in Carolina, but I do like the Panthers minus the 3 points in this one. Have a lot of questions about this Cowboys offense because outside of Dak Prescott and Zeke Elliott, what do the Cowboys have? You know, Jason Witten retired. Des Bryant was on the downside of his career. But you take those two guys out of that Dallas offense, you've now lost 132 catches and 11 touchdown passes from receptions from last year. What do you have for the Cowboys? Yeah, you've got a very good defense, granted. Now, this Carolina offense has the new offensive coordinator, Norv Turner, who I think will definitely get a lot more out of Cam Newton and especially Christian McCaffrey. But although I think they have a chance to attack a weak Dallas secondary, that is the soft spot in that Dallas defense, the only thing that I worry about this Carolina offense is the status of their offensive line. They suffered a couple of big injuries during the preseason. Their starting left tackle, Matt Khalil, is still out. Their starting right tackle, Darrell Williams, suffered during the early part of summer, a torn MCL and a dislocated patella. He only returned to practice last weekend. questionable for this game, and should he play, he's going to have to go up against DeMarcus Lawrence. That's no cup of tea. The strength of this Carolina defense, of course, of its front seven. Very good at stopping the run. Did not allow a 100-yard rusher last year. I think they were number 3 in the league against the run last year, and then they added defensive tackle, the former Falcon, how do you pronounce his name? Dontari Poe. So that only bolstered that unit's strength. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. I could see this, especially with the inclement weather, being somewhere in the 17-14, 17-13 range. I like Carolina here to squeak out the win. Naturally, this line is 3. I'm buying down the half point. If it's anywhere around 3, 3.5 on Carolina, I like them. On the early card, I like New Orleans -10. It's a dicey number. I realize that. The home team, however, is 4-0 straight up and against the spread the last 2 years. In this series, Ryan Fitzpatrick, of course, quarterbacking Tampa Bay instead of Jameis Winston. The other dicey proposition in this game is the fact that the Saints don't have their 1-2 punch at running back because Mark Ingram is suspended. That means they're going to have to rely on Alvin Kamara. Now, listen. This guy as a rookie last year was tremendous. Led the league in rushing yards per average carry at 6.1. And Drew Brees loved going to him. Brees targeted him 100 times last year, and he came up with 81 receptions for 826 yards and 5 touchdowns. Targeting your running back 100 times, he was the 3rd most targeted running back in the NFL last season. But the key to his success was the fact that they didn't overuse him last year. He only averaged like 12.5 touches per game from scrimmage, and he averaged 7.7 yards per touch. Now, are they going to increase his workload with Ingram out? And if they do so, is that going to decrease his effectiveness? And you're looking at a 10-point number. New Orleans won last year 30-10 at home, laying 7. They lost 31-24 as a 6-point road chalk in Week 17. But the Saints were 3-0 against the spread as a division home chalk last year. I do like New Orleans here, but again, a little bit concerned it's a 10-point line in this one. So the 3 plays, I like Carolina number 1, New Orleans number 2, Washington number 3. I'll tell you what, I think New Orleans also is a great teaser opportunity, 2-team 6-point teaser, taking New Orleans down to 4. But I looked up and down the card. Boy, what game would I probably tease it with? Of all the games, I would probably hook them up with Carolina, taking Carolina and making the Panthers a 3-point underdog. But to be honest with you, when I look at teasers, I don't like taking a 3-point favorite and putting them into a teaser generally, because that line is already close enough. I generally in teasers like to take a team that's laying between 6 and 12 points and reduce the number of points that I'm laying with that favorite because they're already favored to win. And I'm reducing the percentages and hedging my bets on that favorite and reducing the number of points that I want them to win by, rather than taking a closer game and making that slight prohibitive favorite an underdog. You get where I'm going here? That's how I personally like to play teasers. But again, if I had to hook anybody up with the Saints, it would be Carolina. That's it today. I wish you well. Talk to you again tomorrow. Good luck.